welcome to 50 Movies in 50 Weeks. I'm your host, Joey Hollywood, and I'm trying to get through all 50 movies in this 50 movie box set in 50 weeks. I almost forgot to say that. It's weird, because I've been doing this for so long. You think I'd remember. The movie I watched today was called Revolt of the Zombies from 1936, I think? 1936, I was right. Or at least that's what it says in the box. If the date's wrong, blame the box. The box says 1963, or 1936. Whatever, I'm dyslexic. But I actually talked about this movie very recently when I covered White Zombie, which I got a comment on that said that most people adore that movie. And that I'm wrong as always, I think is what he said. If that's not what you said, I apologize. But I think he said something along the lines of, wrong as always, this movie's great, whatever. And just to clarify, because I don't remember what I said in that video, I do think White Zombie is an important film. And I understand the elements that make it great. I just personally don't enjoy watching it. There's some sort of barrier there that I can't get past. And I think it's interesting here because this movie, its sequel, I actually enjoyed watching more, but it is an inferior film to the original. There's more narrative push, there's more characters with goals, and it's paced a little faster, but it's also lacking atmosphere. The original movie had so much atmosphere. And when I say this is a sequel, it's kind of, it was meant to be a sequel, but I guess there was some sort of rights issue at the time. So it's technically not a sequel, but it reflects events that happened in the original movie. So it's not a sequel. It's directed by the same guy, which is interesting. And also Bela Lugosi's eyes are in this movie, but they're not supposed to be Bela Lugosi's eyes. They're supposed to be someone else's. This movie focuses a lot about the war that was going on at the time. I believe it was the war going on at the time. If not, it was a war. And it's mostly revolves around a guy trying to learn the secrets of the zombie so he can create an unstoppable force of zombie men. And it's shown that the Asian army already has I believe it's World War II. No, it's not World War II. That the Oriental army that they're going up against has zombie soldiers too. There's actually a pretty fun little effect where they're shooting at the Asian army and they show their chest, and there's a lot of jump cuts with little black dots painted on them. Every time they fire a gun, a black dot appears, and it's all jump cuts. And it's a simple effect. It's very fun. The artistry that goes in, that went into this movie is not as high as the original film. The original film had such amazing sets and amazing atmosphere. This movie is completely lacking atmosphere. And there's also a weird thing. There's a lot of composite shots in this movie. Really weird and unnecessary ones too. There'll be a scene where a guy walks into a room and they'll just have composited like things in the foreground, just blocking, and it's like, why even put that there? And there's like a shot, there's a big long scene of two characters walking through a marsh, and they shot in the marsh. There's a wide shot of them in the water, in the marsh, and for some reason they still felt the need to put these characters, or these actors, in essentially what would be considered now a green screen room, but they're just composited into footage, and it just doesn't work at all because the camera that was recording the background footage seems to be angled down, but the characters are shot head forward, so it just looks odd, and it goes on for a long time, and it's so unnecessary too because there's so little there's not much happening in the scene, and they already have a wide shot of them in the marsh, physically in the marsh. So it doesn't make any sense. And there's a lot of stuff like that. That's just the one that bothered me the most. But the whole movie is littered with stuff like that. And in this movie, the previous movie very heavily implied, and in some cases directly stated, even though it was contradicted, that the zombies are the living dead. This movie, they are not. In fact, in this movie, they refer to the zombies as robots and automatons. And they're under hypnosis or telekinesis. And it's a completely different mythology from the first movie, which I guess is okay because it's, some sites say it's really not a sequel, but then other sites say it is. I really don't know. I've just always, I grew up hearing this was a sequel, and every site I see says it is, but it really doesn't feel like it, and then there's always people contesting it. So welcome to my confusion on the topic of this movie. But it is a faster paced movie. It's more fun to watch, in my opinion, but the original movie is technically better. Do I recommend this one? Kinda. Like a lot of these movies, you know, it's something you could put on while you draw or write or something. Despite the fact that I don't get the original, I would say the original movie is better. Just not for me. In fact, this worst movie, I think, is more my speed. But yeah, I enjoy this one. It's not for everybody. Clearly, it's not for everybody. It's considered a massive disappointment for people who love White Zombie. 2 movies out of the 3 that were always on those box sets when I was a kid. The third movie was King of the Zombies, and I'm pretty sure that's in here somewhere. So eventually we're going to get the King of the Zombies, and I remember enjoying that one quite a bit. Hopefully I still do. But I think I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Remember, please be kind and rewind.